How's it going, y'all? Welcome back to part 3 of our Napoleon Total War DarthMod French campaign. Where we last left off, we had just finished up the siege of Prague. We had our sights set on Vienna. However, due to Kutuzov and Karl von Oostenrijk, we had to rethink a little bit of our strategy. Now, I believe we talked about potentially sending Messina, Ney, and Davout through northern Italy into the Balkans. However, seeing as the coalition forces are meeting up in the Austrian capital, could force us on the defensive. We might try and push for Venice and then try and hold that territory, make them come to us, because forcing our position right now, as divided as we are, probably is not going to be the best strategy for us in the long term. From what I do remember, we do have a contingent rushing as fast as it can from Paris to the front to reinforce the Emperor. We also have Davout being reinforced, or being delved into more of a recruitment drive in Munich. One of the things I also proposed in the last video was potentially incorporating a more realistic approach to our army composition. For those maybe have seen the Invicta video that I'm referencing, basically, according to the video, if sources are to be believed, the composition of your standard Napoleonic army was 4 units of infantry or fusiliers, a unit of voltigeurs or voltigeurs, and then a unit of grenadiers. And that would consist of, I believe, a regiment, if I remember correctly. Could be wrong, because I've only seen it once. It's hard to recollect. So, with that in mind, if we wanted to make a whole battalion, or in this case a corps, we could potentially do a composition of maybe 2 infantry regiments, so 8 units of fusiliers, 2 voltigeurs, and 2 grenadiers, along with however much artillery and cavalry we want in support of that infantry. Or better yet, if you had any recommendations, I'd love to see some of the ideas that potentially you, the viewers, might have. But anyway, for now, I have 10,000. I forget the currency at the time. Is it francs, or is it somebody correct me. Like I said in the first video, I'm not really an expert at this time period. Like, I have certain things that I'm fascinated with, like the military history of the era, although I'm not very well versed in terms of the nitty-gritty aspects of this time period. So if somebody could inform me as to what that is, I would very much appreciate it. As I remember correctly, did have the dockyard in Bastia that did finish. So we can upgrade that to a dry dock so that way we can get maybe some, yeah, some ship of the lines. Yeah, the one thing that I would love, I know some of you said as to not worry about the Navy. I mean, we're making enough money as is where I think we could try to potentially thwart the Brits. I think another thing that I'll try and do is I'll actually try, don't really army replenishment here. Love getting more money per turn. We're gonna be doing any fighting in Aquitaine. I think, let's see. Let's see. Some Portuguese. Catalan. Some conscripts. Assuming that their accuracy is terrible. Yeah, their accuracy. They're basically just like glorified militia. Just a little bit better in melee. However, there's 500 of them compared to 360 of them. However, this unit is actually really good in melee for whatever reason. They have a really high charge bonus. I wonder why that is. Huh, okay, something to think about. But yeah, for now, we're going to make a quick reactionary force to march through the Iberian Peninsula and try and snipe British stronghold of Gibraltar. So I guess to kind of expedite that process, we can do what? Let's do like 4 units of Fusiliers, a unit of Chasseurs, just to stick with the theme of the point that I made earlier. I mean, I don't really see any Grenadiers, so I guess we'll have to stick with some Marines just to put in some filler. I know it's probably going to be redundant and stats are not going to be the same, but if you guys would like to see bigger battles, I'll potentially try and get an army of either conscripts or the column of attack. Here, we could potentially get some bigger battles. However, the AI is I don't want to say unruly, but kind of unpredictable in the sense that you don't really know the composition of the army that they're going to build. However, I'm stacking a 40 stack in the capital, so that is something to think about. Assume that has multiple marshals, generals in there. So they've just been recruiting that since turn 1, and it seems like they're getting even more in their recruitment. Gotta love it when the brain just goes a little too fast for the mouth. Just gotta slow down. I keep telling myself to slow down. But yeah, you know what? Let's make a play on Venice because I would love to have Nay's veterans make a play for that, especially having a city as big as that with the building types that it does, it would be very beneficial. Especially seeing as I believe we were making a manufactory, so we're gonna have Tyrol as a cannon production center, while we can have Munich and Venice be hubs for infantry recruitment. So yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we have Senna move to support A as we try and engage for Venice. Take a quick save as to avoid the issue that we had with episode 1. And I'll see you guys on the field. Alright, welcome to the Battle of Venice. Just to air out a couple of things, most likely this video will be coming out on Christmas Day, so to those who celebrate, Merry Christmas, as well as, you know, all the Jewish viewers, if there are some of you out there, I wish you a happy Hanukkah. I know that is over by the time of this recording, or it should be over by the time that this is over. As well as, I know Kwanzaa is around the corner, so if you celebrate that, I wish you a happy Kwanzaa, and the new year is almost around the corner, so I wish you guys a happy 2024. I hope 2023 has brought you guys some form of happiness, and if it hasn't, you know, the new year is around the corner, so make the most of the new year. That's what it is all about. New opportunity to start in anew. But yeah, just to iterate what I was saying before all that, just to give you guys a little bit of an update in terms of the channel. I'm going to be putting this out, scheduling it for Christmas Day, and then I will be taking a break until after the new year. I will be away on vacation with family, so if you wonder why there isn't an upload for maybe like a week or 2 weeks, that's the reason. I just ask that you keep that in mind and just have a little bit of patience. I'll try to get this series out on a weekly basis. But yeah, other than that, let's dive right into it. We should have Senna coming in from, I believe we had to our west, so I believe it should be coming on the left flank. So let's go ahead and start the battle.
Lancier, préparez-vous à vous battre.
Here's Messina arriving.
État-major des généraux.
3rd and 4th Corps. Or I forget whose corps was initially what, so if you guys can correct me, I'll get better at getting that right. But for now, I'll just refer to it as the 3rd and 4th, seeing as I referred to Murat and I believe it wasn't Davout. It was it Bernadotte? No, Bernadotte I believe we have stationed in Cleves. So I forget who's leading the other corps in Prague right now. Now we can have this artillery here on this small little hill. It's nice to kind of have these little scenarios. I don't know, just it's interesting. Like I said in the previous videos, like it's it makes the mind wonder a little bit as to what it must have been like around this time period. Yeah, sure, we have films that kind of fill in the gaps, but it's like it's not exactly as it was, you know. So it's just it harps back to that point I made in the previous video, where it's like if you had a scenario like Assassin's Creed, right, where you had a machine where you could go back to see what your ancestors must have gone through, like, would you want to do that? And then sorry for the awkward pause, just taking a drink. If you had that opportunity, like, would you go through with that? Which I feel like most people would say yes. We'll have the infantry back there, marching column, just to keep it somewhat realistic. I always love watching the guys like move into the chevron formation and then finally into column. It's very precise, very disciplined.
Monsieur! Troupes, démontez l'avant-train! État-major des généraux, à vos ordres! Ordre bien reçu! État-major des généraux, monsieur! À vos ordres!
Alright, first volley from the cannons. Let's see how this goes. Not very effective. No casualties as of yet. Still waiting on Massena's Corps to officially arrive. There we go, there's some effective damage. Still only 4 kills, most of them were knocked over, but still better than the 0 that we had before. But yeah, I'll reiterate that question as from the previous video. If you guys are interested in the series, like I am, would you kind of prefer a more realistic approach, in the sense, as I was bringing up with the point earlier about Invicta? Would you like to see a more realistic approach, or would you rather just prefer a, like, I don't want to say lackadaisical approach, but more so like a nonchalant, just everyday kind of watch me play how I want to play? Either way, just leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking, because I'd love to hear some of your guys' opinions. For now, though, I'll speed up the video, and I'll see you when Massena's infantry finally gets to the front. Alright, we got some action approaching. The Austrians are not being idle. So we might have the
Préparez-vous à vous battre.
The Lancers, you know what? We'll send them in. We'll have our other chasseurs à cheval move across the flank.
Troupes, démontez l'avant-train. Infanterie d'élite. L'infanterie suisse attend les ordres.
looks like we're gonna have to send the cavalry back in. See if we can get some cinematics here. That's what we like. It's an interesting approach by the Austrians. They were definitely approaching very heavily on my left flank, but it seems like we had it covered. So we can get some cinematics of our infantry here. That is until they do some rearrangement like that. That's the one thing I will say about this mod that just irritates me sometimes. It's the fact that they do that. They ruin a perfectly good animation. But you know what? It be how it be. We'll cycle charge again. Get our chasseurs across the flank here. See if we can possibly get this unit of infantry to shoot across the woods. Really love to get Archduke Charles Legion off the map. Oh, they are doing a number on our Lancers. There we go. Interesting volley by the cannons there. Some good experience all around for all of our troops here. Again, I just find myself fascinated now, and just like I would love to have just like, I don't want to say like a time machine, but a sense where it's like if I could have a period where I'm like a ghostly
glorious
observer.
victory, sir, is soon to be yours.
to like these big historical events. Like I would love to have witnessed these grand pieces of history. Like not personally have like any effect to the outcomes, but to just like have witnessed it, just to see like the grand scale of it. Like you hear about it, and you'll hear about these things where it's like, oh, you know, they had 60,000 men, or 80,000, 200,000, however many thousands of men. Like what must it have been like to see that amount of people in one place at one time? Only imagine the utter chaos, slaughter of everything. And just to imagine not having like the amount of knowledge that we do now. Like imagine having an injury or some illness from back in the day and not being able to do anything about it. That must have sucked. Oh, that was a direct hit. Continue the charge. As the butcher Bannister Tarleton once did. Our infantry move back, take a view of the utter carnage as the Battle of Venice. Just the amount of people gonna be left behind here. It's nuts to think about. But yeah, that was the Battle of Venice, so I will catch you guys back up on the campaign map.
Nous avons triomphé.
Alright, welcome back. Took about 1/10 of our casualties while destroying the enemy force. Good amount of experience for everyone involved. Looks like our cavalry got the most experience from that battle. Makes sense.
Préparez-vous pour la bataille.
Now the question then becomes, do we liberate the state of Venice, or do we occupy it for ourselves? I mean, we would be getting about 1,000 gold a turn, or we could loot it, get another 10,000. So I think short term, this is probably a better option for us. Long term, probably either of these. Although I don't really rely on the AI to do it, so I'm just gonna take it. We end up losing it to the Austrian. Just get it back. Does look like Messina is gaining
Prêt à recevoir vos ordres.
some good traits. Very heroic, indeed. I believe the people of Venice will love The fact that we have liberated them from their Austrian oppressors. As well as that, we have new ports in the Adriatic. Which then means new potential trade partners. Love it when the economy comes together. Absolutely. Love it. So now, interesting we can do. The Austrians will have to deal with the Ottomans as well. I don't know if they're at war with the Russians as well. They are. Okay, so that makes this interesting, as the Austrians and the Russians will now have to deal with the Ottomans. We could do, so while this builds, we have no money now, but for the next turn we could potentially have a fleet come to destroy and disrupt the Austrians through Istria, disrupting their trade with the British. So yeah, something to think about. But yeah, for now, that we're gonna have to leave that as our episode. You guys enjoyed? I know I thoroughly do. I would also like to reiterate that I'm thankful so much for the support in this series. It means the absolute world to me that you guys find this as interesting as I do. Yeah. If you have any ideas, please leave them in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys. But yeah, for now, I will catch you all in the next one. Have a happy holiday season, and have a happy new year. And I will see you guys in 2024.